Shepherd, I'm glad I didn't look at your agenda as I often do, and sometimes put it on the internet on my own sites. Before I came, I just came wandering in here, and here's an exception to the streamside protection ordinance, which was gutted through 2 years of meetings. It was reduced from a reasonable 100 feet or something to what we got. It's very weak, very, very weak. That there be any exceptions to it should be more than somebody wants to pull. Do you remember being in one of the meetings when the county agent who works on water quality the most pointed out, he brought in pictures of a under or in-ground swimming pool that was built in the Riparian-zone or in the floodplain, and described showed how it looked when it was full of the stream water, which was muddy at the time. Usually when there's a big flash flood, it brings mud from some construction site or some roadside or some farm. Most of them are construction sites where it comes from. So that silt not only was going downstream, it filled up the pool, which just made it laughable that anybody would want to put a pool in that area. Maybe a little plastic one the kids could play in when the storm was. They knew a flash flood was possible, to drag it up to the house or something. But this ordinance was weakened by many meetings in which various people, many of them just fantasizing that it would affect their property, but deciding it was property rights. Well, it's property rights downstream if flooding upstream is increased by minimizing the width of the stream with a wall or by putting buildings into that streamside protection area, and particularly if it's clearly in the floodplain. Certainly it can be true that somebody's land is 20 feet above the stream bed, and the stream has never historically gotten up there and probably never can. But mostly when these things are, if it says FEMA floodplain, that means it's really in the overflow area of the stream. So I don't know, has there, Mr. Chairman, been or somebody else answer this, Mr. Chairman, has there been such a variance to the streamside ordinance up to this point?
I think this is the first test. There has been. Yeah.
There has been one?
Montessori school? Oh, yeah. I mean, it wasn't a pool, but it was hard surface.
Oh, yeah, over second.
So this is the second?
That's the first pool.
Okay, well, I'm very sympathetic. People like to have a swimming pool. I'd love to have one. But if I live there and the stream's pretty clean, even though they call it Mud Creek, I might take the kids down there to play in the stream, learn about nature, look at the turtles and the minnows and the frogs and the fish and the wildflowers that grow down there. And I certainly wouldn't remove any trees there or alter the vegetation. And I would be getting it certified, my whole property, as by the National Wildlife Federation as wildlife habitat. It fell, what was it, 2 weeks ago? On the 1st of June, less than 2 weeks, was honored by the National Wildlife Federation as the first city in Arkansas that has been registered or certified as a habitat community. And the streamside ordinance is something that works toward that goal. I know that I spoke against that at the time, that it should not be geared only to preserving or improving water quality to avoid paying extra to cleanse our water, but it also should take into account the wildlife values, the aesthetic values, and all the things that go into streamside protection or riparian zone protection. So I hope you will look closely at this, and I hope you will not approve it. May I ask another question, Mr. Chairman? If this is approved at this body, will it have to go to the council to be made final, or do you guys have the final say in it?
I believe we have the final say.
Okay. Well, I'm disappointed the staff even recommended it, but you know, this wasn't in the newspaper, and I noticed the TV station left to interview the people about the previous item, which is important also. But this is something I waited for decades to see, a streamside protection ordinance that really would work. And this one can work pretty well, even though it's weakened, if you guys stick to the letter of the law. And please, please do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shepard.
My name is Lindsay, and I live at the residence. The elevation of the pool will be at the elevation of the house. You know, there's solid rock about, we think about 8 to 10 foot deep, so that could affect, you know, the deep end of the pool and everything. So the elevation of the pool will be at the house. In 16 years of living there, we've seen several floods. I've never seen the flood get to the 100-year floodplain line, but you know, we've had Paradise Valley Golf Course since the early 80s, and we've had some major floods out there. And last April, that flood that we received went 5 feet over that green down there, 17 green by Old Missouri Road, which is the highest it's ever been. So we've seen some serious floods. They've never gotten close to the house. That last one was probably 5 feet in elevation, had to come up more to get to the house. So if the pool is set at the elevation of the house, there won't be any issues with it getting full of mud.
Sir, do you know the elevation of your house right offhand? Do you know what that is?
Like it's 1240 something.
I don't know the elevation of the house proper, but there's data points within the cul-de-sac, which is slightly below the finished grade of the house. The elevation in the cul-de-sac is 1239.4 according to the City of Fayetteville topographic data. And the flood elevation, there's a lettered cross-section that represents locations of sections within the 100-year floodplain for Mud Creek, immediately downstream of the location of the house. That elevation is 1237.5.